Welcome to Gaming Rarities. I'm Dan. Thank you so much for clicking and for watching. I hope you're all doing okay. And today we have episode 4 of the CEX Rarities review. So in case you're new around here, on this series we go to 2 CEX stores on every episode. We check out their retro sections first, then we have a look and see what they've got on the shelves, see if they've got any steelbooks or cardboard sleeves or any boxed games priced to unbox, anything like that. And then we give them a score out of 10 based on a few factors like store cleanliness, staff helpfulness and general aura. And then at the end you will see where they square up amongst the rest of the ones that we've been to so far. And if you've ever missed an episode of this, the link to the playlist will be in the description down below, along with the link to the other series we have on the go at the moment, which is the PS2 cardboard collection, the PS3 Steelbook saga, and there's a whole list of CEX roulettes from the shorts, all down there, all the good stuff in the description. So which 2 stores are we hitting up today? We are going to Winchester and Bath. First up is going to be Winchester. Let's have a look. So walking up to the store, as you can see, there was some NES, SNES, Game Gear, Saturn, Game Boy, all in the outside window. Heading inside, you can see it's kind of a long and thin store, nothing too girthy in here. Looking at the retro that was inside, a Sega Saturn game there in a normal jewel case, which you don't see too often. Some Mega Drive and some Master System. Dropping down to the PS1, some pretty big hitters on the PS1 down here, especially that Jackie Chan. I'm a huge fan of Jackie Chan for the PS1. It is an awesome game and it does hold up very well today, so I would highly recommend picking it up if you don't already own it. Also in the cabinet was this Banjo-Tooie for the N64 and it was mint, classed as mint, which you don't see too often. The box was very, very good, almost too good, gave me potential repro vibes, so if it's still there by the time this comes out, then I would tread with caution. Heading over to the shelves, we've got Monster Hunter Wilds with the lenticular sleeve. I seem to see this absolutely everywhere. Also, we had Rise of the Tomb Raider on the PS4, the 20-year celebration pack here. But yeah, I see those everywhere. And that was it. That was it for Winchester. There was not a lot on the shelves at all. The highlights was probably the retro section. They had quite a nice selection of box bits in there, as you saw. But other than that, there really wasn't a lot that I look for in terms of steelbooks or sleeves or anything like that. But yeah, you can't expect to find those everywhere. And again, it's not the fault of the store if they have a lack of stock or lack of steelbooks or anything like that, because they're not in charge of what they take in. It just is what it is. So for the first time in this series, I didn't actually buy anything from the store I went in, which was a shame. But it is what it is. As I say, you can't help what they've got. The store in general was very clean. There was a guy do a change in prices, and I mentioned it before in the Windsor store I went to that there was a woman changing prices, and she just kind of stood right in front of me when there's not even a big enough gap between me and the games I was looking at, and she kind of barged away and didn't say anything. Another reason why Windsor got a very, very low score. But this guy, I noticed he walked all the way around the back of some shelves behind me. Didn't even ask, say excuse me or go around me. He just walked all the way around rather than speaking to me. It's just, yeah, things like that. And the staff behind the counter, when I walked past, I was kind of looking at the steelbooks and stuff behind, asked if I needed any help or anything like that. So yeah, staff were very attentive, which is what you want to see. Winchester in general is a very nice place. I did only drive in, go to the CEX and drive out again, but there was loads of kind of coaches and tourism going on. So yeah, obviously a city steeped in history. But it was very nice place, and I'm going to give the CEX store in Winchester an 8 out of 10. Up next is going to be Bath CEX. Now, there was a lot more going on the shelves, so I'm just going to put the footage into one big montage. Here it is. So here it is, CEX in Bath. I actually went to Bath with my daughter to watch The Wiggles, and they put on a really good show. If you know, you know. So going in the store, it's quite a kind of square like store, not a layout you see too often actually in all the CEXs I've been to. In the first kind of retro cabinet, saw a couple of big hitters on the Nintendo Wii. Not very often you see Wii games in the cabinet. There is some boxed Nintendo goodness. Maybe keep an eye on that one for later on in the video. There's some N64 stuff, some SNES, tennis, lovely. There's the Spenny PS4 games and a nice collector's edition I'd not seen before. They also had kind of a second standalone retro case here as well in the kind of the middle back of the store, which I nearly missed, but I didn't, because there's plenty of good stuff in here, as you can see. It's a Dreamcast, more N64. Heading over to the shelf, here was a two of the same steelbook actually, Rainbow Six Siege should I say, one with the sleeve, one without, and I didn't pick either of those up because they weren't in the best condition. I do already own it, but I don't actually own one with the sleeve, so I kind of regret not picking one up with the sleeve. Here is WWE 2K24, no steelbook but a sleeve that I don't have, but not going to pay that price for that. There is the Hitman that you see in every single CEX ever, steelbook as usual, pretty beaten up this one, £10. Now this CEX had a very good Xbox 360 selection, and they had some quite rare promotional copy games. I know there is a market for these, people do collect them. Wasn't the only one, they also had this one as well. Back to the other Dan. So yeah, a bit more exciting at Bath in terms of things to pick up. There was lots on the shelves, like promo copies of stuff. There was steelbooks, there was sleeves, there was just plenty, and a large retro section. I'm sure you could probably guess the one thing I did pick up though from that footage. I did only pick up one item, and it was Navy Seals on the Game Boy. Now, as you probably saw, this was only marked at £6, the unboxed price. Only marked at that price because it is missing, or was missing, the cardboard inner tray. I've replaced it with a repro one that I have a few of spare, but everything else was in there. The manual's in there, the game obviously. The box is okay, it's obviously not the best, but it's in a box protector now, and it looks fine, well enough to display on my wall of Game Boy anyway, so this will definitely be getting kept. I've got a new row I can make now with another 5 that will go behind me on the bottom, so that's nice. And yeah, another good sign that the store is doing what they're supposed to be doing if things are missing. It's a shame though really, because back before they had kind of with and without manual, you used to get so much more like this. Stores would just say it's going as unboxed if it didn't have the manual, instead of having it priced as with and without as it does now. So you don't see much boxed anymore for the unboxed price, but whenever I see them I must pick them up, so this was definitely coming home with me. Now in terms of the store itself, the CEX was kind of down a side street in Bath, and Bath was a lovely area by the way, very clean, very nice, lots of tourism again. Obviously there's baths in Bath, Roman baths. Yeah, lovely place though from what I saw of it, and yeah, the CEX was very clean, very pleasant, very well stocked, very well, the shelves all look good. One small negative will be the staff, because I kind of stood there waiting to be served, was the only one in the queue. This guy and a woman were just kind of talking to each other. I'm 99% sure it was work related, and I don't judge, but I was just kind of stood there for a minute, and it just felt a bit awkward. But other than that, no real issues. So I'm going to give the CEX store in Bath a 7.5 out of 10. And there you can see where Winchester and Bath square up against the rest of the stores that I've been to. So what did you make of those two stores? Have you ever been to them? Have you had good or bad experiences? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know which CEX stores I should visit next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.